we're about to start off. Like always, based off our routine, we'll start with our bell ringer, just so you all can have an idea towards what our lesson will be, and then we'll introduce the lesson for this week. So starting off, our bell ringer story, Red Pandas. We're going to go to our question first. This way we can be intentional in reading towards what our correct answer will be. All right. All right. I have provided the question on the board, but you all have this printed out at your desk. So let's read number 1, which says, what is the purpose of the glossary? Now, at this moment, students are beginning to look over and practice to find out what they feel like the purpose of the glossary is towards this passage. As students are doing this, the teacher, myself, will be going around to monitor what the students are answering, giving feedback, and just checking over to see if any students are already understanding this standard or students are lagging. This way, as the teacher goes into the lesson, the teacher is able to already have somewhat of an idea of which students will or won't possibly understand the question. All right. Now let's go over our bell ringer. All right. We have D. Let's look at D. The teacher is good at going over what D is and why D is incorrect. Now let's look at C. The teacher is reading C and going over why it is incorrect. All right. The answer next and choice B. The teacher is reading B and going over and explaining why B is incorrect. The teacher now is reading A and allowing a student who possibly got the correct answer to explain why that was the correct answer. If no students got the correct answer, then the teacher will explain. By explaining, the teacher will say, A, it provides the meaning of key words. A would be correct because a glossary's purpose is to provide meaning of key words. Let's look at our glossary. We have what? Bamboo. And then it tells us a plant with hollow woody stem. That means the glossary has given us what a bamboo is or what it means for a bamboo. Endanger. Same with endanger. In danger of disappearing forever. That's the meaning of in danger. The student or readers only got this answer based off using the glossary. All right. So once the bell ring has been given feedback, the teacher will then proceed into going into the lesson by introducing it. All right, class, so our lesson for this week is informational text features. Now, class, when I say informational, what does that mean? The teacher is breaking down the full topic of this lesson. By using informational, the students understand that text features are used in informational text that give us fact information. They are becoming more accustomed and are able to tell the teacher things. So the teacher is doing less talking and only listening to see which students can give the feedback. All right. You're correct, Jada. Informational text means I have information in this text or I'm learning facts. All right. Now we're looking at text features. Let's read and go through what text features are and what they do. Now at this point, the teacher is simply introducing the lesson, setting the tone for the lesson, and what students should expect to learn and what the teacher should expect to see from students. All right, giving the students understanding at this moment. So the teacher is simply going to go through the anchor chart. Now it says it gives us important information. What else does it say? Help us understand the text and make the text more fun. Now the teacher at this point is going into more depth towards what does it mean to use a text feature, all right, using their anchor chart. And now we're going to look at them. The teacher would also use you students to read off the anchor chart. This is a way to engage students. So instead of the students simply listening to the teacher, students are excited. Students want to see if it will be their time to get a chance to read off the board, because it might get points, things like that, or some students just enjoy being able to speak out. So this lets them do that. All right. So the teacher will say, "Subheading, will you read this for me, Azaria?" And she will read, "Organize the information in the text for the reader." And as the students are going and reading off the anchor chart, the teacher is coming behind the student, going into more depth with possible examples as such. All right, good. When we say organize, does anybody know what organize means? A student. Thank you. Yes, organize means I am putting things in a specific order. For example, let's say my title is candy. Give me a candy. Skittles, good. Sneakers, good. So, which means I'm organized. Am I going to put the information in Skittles, in Sneakers? Students will respond no. If you have a student to respond yes, the teacher will then explain to them why that is not the correct way to use a subheading. And so go so forth on with glossary. Students that read gives meaning of keywords in the text. We've just looked at the glossary in our bell ringer, so they got an example. The teacher will read index, tells where reader can find a topic. Same thing, the teacher will just simply go into more depth toward index. Now we're going to be looking at caption. A student will read, tells the reader a description of the picture. Excuse me. Teacher will go into depth and also with caption, the teacher should include that a caption can be found. So this way students know, one, what a caption is, and two, where to look for it at once they're on their own. Next, table of contents. Student will read, give page numbers to chapters in a book. Also, same with table of contents. The teacher should make sure to include where this can be found. Going finishing off, bold print shows the important words in a text. Teacher will again go into more depth and give a good example. As the teacher is going through their anchor chart, students are just getting this is your introduction. Students are getting refreshed or getting their first time hearing this information. You're simply trying to give it to them. You simply want them to have the information and start to create some kind of concept towards the information. Now, the teacher will move on into the PowerPoint. All right. All right, good. Now, class, we'll be looking into our PowerPoint to discuss more about text features. Here we have and there are different examples. This is an example of the table of contents. The teacher is using the PowerPoint because it engages students more. It gives them something brighter to look at. Students aren't going to be sleepy like they would if we were just in a simple book. Students are able to get up, answer questions, be active, do little things more instead of just simply sitting down and only listening to the teacher. This engages our students a little more. They're able to see examples, and you're also able to say, well, Mark, can you tell me where page I would find parts of a butterfly on? And the student should respond with page 5. Now, if you have a student who might say page 3, then the teacher is able to immediately give feedback and say, no, Mark, let's pay attention. On page 3, it says parts of a ladybug. We were looking for parts of a butterfly, which is on page 5. This allows students to get a clear understanding. And again, we have another one with heading. The teacher can use that for subheading. We have diagrams, captions, same thing. We have the meaning of it and different versions. Examples, bold print as well, glossary. Now, once the teacher has went through which text features they plan to expound on, a good and another engaging way is we have let's learn more about text features. So the teacher will allow the students to watch this video very quickly on text features and then assess them. Because at this point, we've done our guided practice and the teacher has modeled what it looks like to use certain text features. So the teacher should have a set of questions based off this video, which they're going to ask each group. So, which would sound like this. All right. So to move on, what we're going to do now is each group will be given a sticky note. Now, each group will also have a specific text feature that I want you to tell me more about and what example you saw in the video. This allows our students to, one, get a chance to work in groups, and two, be accountable for their own learning. This way, they're able to say, if I'm in group 1 with Kingston, you should have saw this. That doesn't match up. And they're able to get peer-on-peer communication. So we're going to move on. It would look like... So the teacher would click. It would show. So of course now the video is playing, students are watching the video, the teacher has already, at this point, the teacher has given out sticky notes and assigned text feature. So again, she's re-uttering what the teacher has already said about text features. So again, that's title, heading. So the video might have extra 1, 3. All right, and again, the video aligns to our lesson because our focus was, our main goal was for our students to be able to tell us the text feature and how to use it. And it comes back at the end and re-utters what the teacher has already said into tone. The learning goal. I can tell about how to use different text features. So the video keeps the students aligned towards what our goal is for our state assessment. All right, and to finish off, the teacher will now, because the teacher has, one, introduced the lesson, practice with the students, and allow them to have a peer-on-peer communication to wrap up the lesson for the day. The teacher will then provide another passage and question as their exit ticket. This allows the teacher to see day-to-day data in their classroom towards this standard. Meaning, I can see that if, Timothy didn't quite understand what a glossary was in the bell ringer, now after I've taught him and we went over and he's talked with his peers, he might be able to tell me what bold print is, like was provided in our exit ticket. And the same for all your 27. You can see which text, or maybe if Kelsey is getting confused between table of contents and index because they're so similar and deal with numbers. So you just get to see day-to-day data and where you can fill in gaps with your students. So the teacher will, of course, direct to the exit ticket. All right, students, now it's time to recap on what we've learned today. You all have done really, really well during our whole group session. Now, let's go to our exit ticket. Our story, walkie-talkie instructions. Of course, our strategy is to do what? The students respond. Read your question first so we can intentionally read. So we will go to number 2, which will stay as our exit ticket. Now we will have a student to read it as follows. Why did the author put the words on, talk, and volume in bold print? Now, this question has already given the text feature. which means students should already go ahead. You want to look for students who want highlight what text feature is being used and highlight where it is being used in the story. And third, get your correct answer. So instead of the teacher breaking down the question, the teacher will allow the student to fully go straight forward into working it out. And just like the bell ring, teacher will also start walking around, monitoring each student and simply letting them say, I've chosen my answer, mark, check if it's right, if it's wrong, mark it off and wait for the discussion. So the teacher walks around, gives them a certain amount of minute or so. Once the teacher has checked everybody, all right, now let's do a whole group discussion. When we were looking, so once everyone has been checked, then the teacher does feedback. This allows the teacher to see who can handle this without me, who all has grasped this message, this lesson, and is able to tell me bold print without the teacher's help in any form. So we start off reading the question again. Why did the author put the words on, talk, and volume in bold print? The teacher goes to say, one thing we should have did was, of course, highlight our text feature. The teacher would say to be engaging, who can tell me what text feature was used? A student, bold print, and double back by saying, how do I know? And allow another student to say, it's in my question. Then they would go back up to the story, all right, and then come back down. And simply do a process of elimination. During the process, is your feedback allows the teacher to hear what the students are thinking more, which allows the teacher to also say, well, Ambrielle understands the concept of text features. She just doesn't always understand which is which. She might confuse the two or three. Excuse me. So let's look at A. You read A because they should be read loudly. Allowing a student to tell me why that's wrong. Let the other students hear, all right, this is why that's wrong. That's what I should have thought of. Again, with B, your teacher's able to say, she understands. B, read out B because they are title of steps. A student might say, that's incorrect because it wasn't even said in the passage. That student is allowing you to hear their understanding the concept of reading comprehension as well. You allow a student to read C because they should be difficult words to remember. Another student, you allow them to tell me why it's wrong. The students who are telling me that it's wrong are students who more than likely got the correct answer, or the teacher could go another route and say, well, Maria, you chose because they should be difficult words to remember. What made you choose these? How does that support the text feature of bold print? That's how you can connect, find out what your student was thinking towards what you were teaching. And Maria will tell you your thoughts, and you simply guide Maria back. Well, I understand that on talking volume might be difficult for you, but let's remember, are you the only one reading it? The student will say no. So that means if more than you are reading it, how would this apply to everybody, the entire reader? Okay? How does bold print apply to everybody, not just you? So, which might help her. Then you have a student read out D because they are the names of important buttons, which the student will then give you evidence to say bold print means important words. Now, once you've done that, you give your feedback and you're able to close off your lesson for the day, and then, you're able to reset for tomorrow. Thank you.